Good morning, everybody, or good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where from the world you've joined us today. My name is Dear Kartik. I'm here, the founder of The Good, The Bad, and The Bitcoin. I'm a trader and investor and have been so for 25 years. And welcome to Market Movers Monday, the show where I want to walk you a little bit through the week on what to expect in terms of trading. And there's like one thing really that's lingering in my head today that I mainly want to talk about, and this is what we are seeing in terms of transaction fees right now on the Bitcoin blockchain. I think this is really an issue. I tweeted about this also a couple of times. Last time was like 2 days ago when I said it's not healthy at the moment, the transaction fees. At the time I wrote this, we were at 17 million in daily fees. We've surpassed this now. So currently we are actually there at 22 million. Yesterday we topped over 24 million in daily fees for Bitcoin transaction. That actually means that the miners currently are earning more from processing transactions than they are from finding new blocks on the blockchain, where they are currently still rewarded with 6.25 Bitcoin. This is going to be reduced end of April next year during the next halving, on the next halving, to 3.125. Because and I think that's so concerning. In a moment we're going to look into the reasons for that, of course, as well. Is that if I look here a bit into the past, really, and zoom out a little bit, you can see every time that happens when the transaction fees spiked by quite a bit, and this is like the highest we've been really in a while. You could see that it just was a matter of time until the Bitcoin price really came down. Then now I don't want to like paint the devil onto the screen here, really, because two of those slums we saw here, the one in 2018 or 2017, late 2017, of course, the one that occurred also in 2021 was due to Bitcoin being in the last stages of its cycle, of its bull market here. Of course, we are just leaving the bull market, so to say, but nonetheless, we've already seen since the time I wrote this last tweet here, we were still at 42,000+, where we were 42,500 when I wrote this tweet. We have been slumping down now to 41,100. I want to also have a look here today if this is maybe to continue. So where does that actually come from, these spikes in transaction fees? Well, it's mainly due to something called Bitcoin Ordinals, which are, that's the way it was explained to me, nothing else than NFTs on Bitcoin. If you want to express it in a professional way, if you want to say it in a bad way, you could also say it's JPEGs on Bitcoin that get inscribed into the blockchain, that take up a lot of the block space. That's why there is no space then for other transactions. So in order to get your transaction processed rather fast, you have to give the miners obviously a high reward for that. That's why we see like those transaction fees above $20. There's a big backlog in the mempool of Bitcoin also. However, the more technical details, what that really means and so on, I'm going to address also in the video that I'm planning on releasing later this week. Let's for now on Market Movers Monday here, of course, concentrate a bit on the week ahead in terms of trading. So yeah, this poses a danger. In my opinion, this can be resolved with two things. We could either see Bitcoin really crashing down, and I mean crashing down by quite a bit to maybe something like 38 or even 34,000 US dollars, which would be a little bit healthy too, in my opinion, because it gets those 200-day and 100-day moving average the chance to also catch up by a little bit. So I would be disappointed actually if that happens. And the second thing that could really happen here is that we move sideways. Why is my brush not working here? Let me reload my chart. Leave page. Let me quickly reload my Bitcoin squeeze chart here. Here we go. Now is everything also inside. I wanted inside there. So like I said again, the first thing that could really happen here is that we see a rather strong move to the downside, at least until this zone of support we have here around 38,500 US dollars. Possibly even this could extend all the way down to 34,000 US dollars. So we're talking about 10 or 20% in a move down. That's the first possibility. That would lead again that the sentiment from Bitcoin turns from bullish to more bearish again. It's also, by the way, something that would be completely normal for the stage of the market we are in right now. If you look here at the last months before halving, you can also very clearly see a lot of ups and downs. Look at the pre-halving 2020, when we moved all the way down to almost 3,000 US dollars first in Bitcoin until the bear market really took off. So it would be really completely normal to see something like this, even down to 30 or even to 25,000 US dollars. This is one possibility. The second possibility that we could see is, and that's the one I naturally also prefer, because you guys know I'm also long-term heavily invested into Bitcoin, to see kind of now for at least the rest of a year. I mean, we're talking about, what is that, like 13 days that we have left here in 2023, a bit of a sideways range until the beginning of January, just for things to cool off a bit naturally. And we've seen a little bit of the hype in those Bitcoin Ordinals, those Bitcoin NFTs earlier this year already, when we saw also the transaction prices spike. It's like I'm not the biggest fan of, I don't want to say NFTs. Obviously, I see what NFTs can be in the long run be used for. I'm not the biggest fan of abusing NFTs for inscribing some pictures into a blockchain, into the Bitcoin blockchain. But that's a whole different matter. So let's hope here that maybe Bitcoin resolves this to the downside. However, if you are trading, if you are thinking about especially leverage long positions, be careful at the moment not to over leverage. Things could heat up rather quickly there, in my opinion. And we can also have a look here at where currently first of all, liquidations were in the past 24 hours. Of course, more long positions liquidated than short positions. We had around 136 million US dollars in leverage long positions liquidated again, but nothing out of the ordinary here for a move down like this. More interesting. Now I loaded the same one again. I wanted the heat map for liquidations. This is more interesting for me at the moment. Let's see here where current levels of support and resistance are. Really, I'm going to zoom out to a month here. And I think on this one, we can very well see here everything above 43,000. We have quite a major resistance here, where a lot of short orders, limit short orders, limit sell orders waiting to be executed. On the other hand, there's also, of course, a decent level of support around this area between 41,000 all the way down here to 39,100. Then there's a little bit of gap down to 38,000. According to this, should be not so easy actually to drop it under 38 to 36,000. But we all know once Bitcoin starts running, it's very hard to stop it. So the hope is that this resolves sideways. One word here, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about the 20 days moving average. A lot of traders using this for swing trading support, which is the purple line here. This one, and this was like the major area of support once when we had on the 11th of December, this first candle down from 44 to almost 40,000 again. So this one was holding on. It has been broken as of yesterday. So it acts now as resistance. If we don't recapture this one this day, it kind of adds to the narrative, in my opinion, that we could see prices down here around 38,500 US dollars. So in my opinion, if you are thinking about a swing trading long, I'm really saying swing trading long here, meaning a position that you maybe want to hold on for a week, 2 or 3 weeks, I would at the moment rather try to enter down here than enter at the current price. Of course, it could be that we are swinging up immediately again. We've seen this over and over again here also. However, I think that the dangers at the moment outweigh the chances by far. It's also extremely difficult, in my opinion, to find a stop here somewhere. The next stop that makes sense is under 38,500 US dollars, in my opinion, which would be the 50 days moving average here. So that for Bitcoin. This, of course, doesn't mean anything if you invested long term, like I am in Bitcoin. If you're in for the long game, if you're DCAing into Bitcoin and so on and so forth, it doesn't matter. I honestly speaking had a little bit the impulse when I saw 44,000 to sell some of my long-term position, but then again, you never know. Where's the local top? Where's the local bottom? In the long run, I mean. And by all means, we are now, 4.5 months from the next Bitcoin halving. So it wouldn't at all, in my opinion, for long-term backs make sense to sell at the moment. Good. If you guys have any questions, if anybody's watching this live here today, we are, of course, still a rather small channel. Leave your questions right now. Other than that, you can, of course, if you're watching a recording of this, leave your question underneath the video. Please also make sure to give me a like and subscribe to the channel. I've seen quite a nice growth recently on the channel. So thanks for everybody who has recently subscribed to this channel. I really appreciate your interest and hearing my thoughts about trading. And I love to share my experience about trading. I think there are so many BS channels really out there that pretend to be traders. So I try to be the voice of reason and try to show you really from the eyes of a pro trader how things are done. And okay, let's have a look at some more assets here. First of all, I mean, Ethereum, pretty much the picture the same like in Bitcoin. Ethereum outperforming a bit to the downside always at the moment. We can clearly see this also in Bitcoin dominance. We are making a new lower high here, in my opinion. As long as we don't break this trend line, there's no real reason for an altcoin market, in my opinion. We could see one in January or February, in my opinion, a small one. But at the moment, it's Bitcoin time still, in my opinion. S&P 500 performing amazing. We broke out of our really longish term resistance that we built up here at 4,580 to 4,620 for a long time. Finally managed to break through. That next stop would here be near the all-time high at 4,800 points. So should we see the market moving up there, and there is a realistic chance, by the way, that we could see this. Why? Because between Christmas and New Year's Eve, what mutual funds usually like to do is that they like to prep up their balance sheet by buying additional stocks so they can show the investors, hey, guys, we are invested in stocks, we are invested, we don't hold on to too much cash. Because usually, as somebody who invests in a mutual fund, you don't want to see your fund holding too much cash, because cash doesn't give you any much interest rate. It does at the moment a little bit again, but it could be also that a lot of mutual funds kind of missed out on jumping onto the train and feel the obligation now to jump it. However, I think if we should see some prices here around 4,800, I highly doubt that we are going to jump over this, because also in terms of, pardon me, in terms of the economic calendar, there's only so much going on now. Of course, we still have the Bank of Japan interest rate decisions. It's going to impact the Nikkei 225. Going to impact, of course, Japanese Forex pairs as well. But other than that, there's not so much coming here. A bit of inflation data from the UK still coming up on Wednesday. Other than that, durable goods, the producer price index, and so on and so forth, personal spending. Those are all important numbers, but really be prepared for the market slowing down now as we are approaching Christmas. I think until maybe Friday, this is going to be the last week of this year, really, where you can maybe do some day trading and so on and so forth. But a lot of the bankers are going to be on holiday already. And then January 3rd, it's going to start again. And it's going to be a hot start into the new year with a JOLTS job opening, the FOMC minutes, and of course, the non-farm payrolls, which also should be out then on January 5th. So that's going to be excited. Until then, probably markets, as I said just now, are going to slow. But should we really see the S&P 500 going now within maybe today or tomorrow all the way to 4,800, I could be tempted to play a bit of a short there, just because I somehow do not believe that we can break over this by the end of the year here. Really, we've had an amazing year. We have to see that really very clearly. Let's see here. We started on December 31st. So December 30th was the last one. So from here all the way to here, we had 24% performance in the S&P 500 already. That's insane, not to mention Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, of course. I think the year already has exceeded everyone's expectations by far. Another quick look here at euro dollar, which my good friend Jonathan did a trade in last week when we did a live stream on the inflation data release. That was last week, Tuesday. So we had a good trade there going into euro dollar into a long position. We currently bounced off of the 110. Obviously 110, like by the nature of it, is an area of resistance, but it also shows the turnaround we saw here all the way from 105 now to almost 110. That is a typical risk on move, meaning money is switching back from the US dollar into other currencies or into stocks. And be prepared maybe to see this continue. I'm still waiting, though, a little bit for bad news from the market that this whole debt situation we are seeing in the USA is going to affect the market. Maybe that's going to be the storyline for Q1 of 2023, because I think at the moment people are a little bit too optimistic. I like that, of course, but the markets really rarely don't do what people are expecting them to do, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it already for today, guys. And as I said, if you have any questions, don't be shy to post them underneath the video. This is going to be the last episode for this year of Market Movers Monday. Later this week, I'm going to release a new video, which is going to cover this whole Bitcoin Ordinals thing. I want to go there a little bit more into detail so you guys can really understand what's going on there and why I see that this might be an issue for the price of Bitcoin, at least short term. And then between the days, I'm planning to do my great forecast for 2024. And then that's it already for the year 2023. So guys, have a good one. Have a good Christmas celebration ahead if you are celebrating Christmas. If not, I hope you have a couple of days of work as well. We're going to see each other again later this week. Until then, everybody, have a good one. Take care. And